Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This one is quite a bit delayed. I actually broke or lost multiple pieces of my filming equipment and then just couldn't muster the energy to replace them. So I'm back now and I'm really excited. I've got a lot of video ideas that I'm really excited to make, including some vlogs. I am in another lockdown here in Nova Scotia. So lots of free time, lots of reading has been happening, and yeah, I'm excited to tell you about everything that I've read. Today I'm doing a video that's kind of inspired by something I saw on Books with Leo's channel. She tried the first chapter of a bunch of books to see what she wanted to read next. I have, I think, 8 series that I know very little about, but I own either the whole series or most of it, and they just haven't been a priority for me to read, probably because I don't know a lot about them, or I don't think I'm gonna love them necessarily. So today I'm gonna read one chapter of each of those 8 series and then decide which one or maybe 2 I want to add to my June TBR. So let's take a look at the series that I'm considering. Okay, so the first one is Evermore by Sarah Holland. I think it's called Evermore, but the books are Evermore and Everless. I honestly couldn't tell you a single thing about what this is about. Alchemist, sorceress, someone murdered someone. Yeah, this is why. So I've heard good things about Sarah Holland. I'm gonna read the first chapter and then I'll tell you what I think. I also have The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross. This one I also don't know much about, but I think it's something about overthrowing a king. Chosen one trope, maybe. I just think these covers are really beautiful, so I'm hopeful that I'm gonna like these ones. Someone on a TikTok did say that they really love these, so they have promise. This one I feel like I'm definitely gonna like. I've been in a very big sci-fi mood lately, and this is This Mortal Coil by Emily Suvada, so there's 3 books. This I think is about a teenage hacker, and there's some sort of apocalypse involved. Love anything with apocalypses, and like I just said, I've been loving sci-fi lately. I just read the Illuminae files and really loved them, so I'm pretty confident I'm going to enjoy this one, but I wanted to see before I committed to the whole chunky trilogy. Because I was pretty confident in that one, I decided to add another sci-fi trilogy so that I can pick which one I'm more interested in. This is Defy the Stars, that was awkward, by Claudia Gray. This I think is a romance in space, maybe. It's definitely in space. Ooh, another plague. Interesting. Okay, so they might be pretty similar. I just love the covers of these ones too. All the covers are so nice. So we'll see what I think of these. Yeah, so these next 4 I'm less confident in. This is Frostblood is the first book by Ellie Blake. Frostblood, Fireblood, and Nightblood. These just sound pretty generic, if you know what I mean. They're pretty old YA. I think they're from 2015 or something like that. So they just seem fairly stereotypical. I just read the synopsis of the last book. Okay, I'm gonna try and forget that. It sounds like it kind of has Red Queen vibes, there's different kinds of bloods, I would assume from the titles. So yeah, we'll see. I only got these because they were each $1 at the thrift store one time, and I was like, well, okay. So if I don't find myself enjoying the first couple chapters, I might unhaul them, or I'll just read them. Why not? These have been on my radar for probably 8 years, and I still haven't read them. So this is the final test. If I don't like the first couple chapters of Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page, I'm unhauling these. I only have a couple of the books, I think. Book 4 is tiny. That's so weird. This is actually short stories, but I'll find the other ones if I need to. This is a dark retelling of The Wizard of Oz, I'm pretty sure. And it gets good reviews from people that I trust, so I'm okay, but it just doesn't sound like it's going to appeal to me. So, I don't know. I don't know if you could see that, but these books are weirdly heavy, and that was just really hard. This is the Warrior Heir series by Cindy Williams Chima, and I can't hold them all up. This I think I wasn't interested in, and then I looked it up, and there was something about a magical school, so I was like, okay, now I'm interested. Yeah, there is a school. A game, also a tournament. Okay, so magical competition and magical school. That gives me hope, but again, these are kind of old, so I don't know if they've necessarily stood to the test of time. But again, I have all 5 because who doesn't love to buy an entire series before you even know if you're gonna like it? That's normal, right? And finally, we have the Tiger's Curse series by Colleen Hook. So, I like anything with mythology. This is based on Indian mythology, but probably 80% of the reviews that I read earlier were this is garbage cultural appropriation, there's nothing real about Indian culture in here, and she's very kind of demeans Indian culture in it. Obviously I'm going to read it for myself and see what I think. I'm clearly not Indian, but I'll kind of rate this one a little critically. I don't know, I feel like I'm either gonna really have a good time with this or I'm gonna think it's trash. Okay, so those are all of the series that I need to start right now, I guess. I'll let you know, maybe some more synopsis too once I've kind of figured them out at least a little bit, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, the lighting is terrible now because of the window, but I read 10 pages of Tiger's Curse because it was only 7 pages in the first chapter and the prologue. I think I might like it. It's very like easy, fluffy writing. So I've been reading like quite a lot of heavy fantasy, and it's kind of nice to break it up with something light. Obviously nothing super like important has happened, but she basically is living with some foster parents, Kelsey, the main character, disjointed, and she gets a job at a circus. And all she knows about the circus is that there's a tiger. So it sounds like from the back, the tiger is actually a person. Like they must be trapped in the tiger's body or something. And they're gonna go to India to find the prophecy. So honestly, this is a contender now. There are 5 books, which is kind of intimidating. But yeah, okay, good start. Okay, I'm gonna try Dorothy Must Die now, honestly, because I kind of want to not like it so that I can just get rid of it. Which means that I should really just get rid of it, but I'm gonna try. I like it. I actually read 2 chapters because I was like, ooh, interesting. So what I've gathered is that Dorothy's on the title, but the main character is Amy. And she gets swept up in a tornado just like Dorothy did. And it sounds like she's gonna have some sort of mission in Oz, but the first 2 chapters is just like her regular life. She lives in a trailer park, she's got a lot of problems. And she's written really well. Like I already care about her, and I'm only on page 24. So again, nice light read, I think. And I kind of want to read this today. Why am I doing this? This is a terrible idea. I'm putting a bookmark in this one. Great. Okay. Next, let's try Frostblood, because I think there's potential for this to not be good. I can sense that my brain is going to get very confused by this, but that's fine. It's usually confused anyway. So I truly have no idea what this is about. This is the one I said might be like Red Queen. Okay, let's see. I'm on page 6. And I already want a map. Like they just said, you know, we'd never make it to the border. Even if we did, we'd be on the front lines. So I was like, ooh, I want to see what border they're talking about. But there's no map. I don't love that. Okay, I'm trying to tell myself that even if this doesn't help me get rid of any books, it'll help me when I'm picking in the future. Like I'll be more excited to pick all of these up now, because this was also good. This was a good first chapter. Again, it was like 16 pages. So basically Ruby has like fire magic, which seems to come from her blood. Like your blood determines your magic, I guess. And she's been in hiding because fire bloods are hunted by the evil empire of some sort, possibly the Frost King. So in the first chapter, someone from her village rats her out and she gets discovered and taken prisoner. And I think her mom also died. So a lot just happened in 16 pages. And I'm intrigued. Chapter 1 of Everlast is also exactly 16 pages. I wonder if that's like a thing. I just tried to read the back of this again, and it seems like time is like a currency in this world. Let's see. Okay, so about partway through this chapter, I was like, this seems good, but not like amazing. I'm excited to read it, but not right now. But then a boy was introduced who it seems like is going to be like an enemies to lovers dynamic. He like is a villainous figure in her past, but I bet that it's a misunderstanding and he's really going to fall in love with her. So this follows a girl named Jules who lives in a world where you can be like bled of your time. So you like they pay their rent with blood, which is time. So they're like giving years to people, so you can be basically immortal if you are rich enough. I hope that makes sense. And her and her father are struggling because they're poor, and she gets a potential offer to go work in like the fancy manor near the town. So intrigued by the enemies to lovers, but the writing wasn't like my favorite of all time. So not 100% sure about this one. I'm gonna try The Queen's Rising now by Rebecca Ross. Let's see if this one has 16 pages too. There's a prologue, okay, oh wow. Okay, first of all, table of contents. I feel like you never see those anymore. Interesting, very interesting. 2 maps, a bunch of like cast of characters and 5 family trees. Okay, so there's a prologue. Let's see how long. Okay, the prologue is 11 pages. I think I'm just gonna read the prologue. So the prologue starts like 7 years before the main story, and the protagonist is named Brianna, which is very like real world, but anyway, she doesn't know who her father is, and she gets accepted to this like school where they train girls to be like one of these 5, like follow one of 5 arts. What are they? It doesn't matter. So anyway, she gets accepted, but not based on any of her actual talents. So it seems like there's something like her father might be royalty or something maybe. I'm making that up. But again, I'm intrigued. This is making me happy though, because now all these books have been sitting on my shelves for months and I've been like, I don't know a single thing about you. When am I gonna read you? Do I even want to? And now I know I do want to. So again, a contender. Okay, before I get into the 2 sci-fis, because I think that's all I have left, I'm gonna read the first chapter of The Warrior Heir. Okay. A lot of information in the prologue of this. It's more of like an urban fantasy, like there's a different layer of our world where there's wizards and warriors and stuff. The prologue was kind of like mostly in the past, so I don't know that we actually met, I think we just met the main character as a baby. But he is like gonna find out that he's actually part of the secret society that he didn't know about. So that could be nice to mix in some urban fantasy. But 5 books is a lot. It is also nice to read books with a boy main character. I work at a bookstore and I feel like a lot of times parents will ask me for boy main character recommendations and I just don't read that many. So that is a good incentive to read this one as well before I get back to work. Okay, I forgot to say I was starting this one, but I just read chapter 1 up to 5 stars. This actually seems really interesting. It seems like Noemi lives on a planet called Genesis that is like trying its best to be sustainable and like not make anything new when there's something old that they can use, etc. And they're battling against Earth, who I guess must have originally colonized them, because Earth is still being stupid and dumb like we are right now. So she is in space fighting for her planet. Obviously didn't get a lot of background from one chapter, but I'm intrigued. The writing was like super fast paced and it felt like reading Star Wars, so yeah. Okay, one more. First chapter of This Mortal Coil, and then I will have to make some decisions. Okay, I will be reading this. I think I'm going to pick out a couple, but first, so in just 11 pages, basically, I'm pretty sure she lives on Earth. Her name is Katerina. There's been a plague, which basically causes people to like get sick, you get kind of zombie-like, and then you explode. But it's a real interesting twist on the zombie apocalypse thing, because you can get immunity from being sick by eating some of the zombies. I think I explained that right. So that's very interesting. I don't know anything about the overarching plot or the world, but I do love a good zombie apocalypse. So yeah, alrighty, I'm gonna read This Mortal Coil. Now I just feel like I have to decide whether I'm gonna pick multiple series to add to my TBR or if I'm just gonna pick a couple different first books. Let me move this so the lighting is not so bad. Okay, that's marginally better. I think I'm gonna pick 3 of these to read the first book. I really oscillate back and forth between preferring like binging a series and spreading it out. But I've got like 2 full series on my TBR for next month already, which will be in another video. So for these ones, I'm gonna add a couple. Okay, so definitely This Mortal Coil. So that means I'm gonna wait on Defy the Stars just because I don't need 2 sci-fi. I'm also already planning on reading another sci-fi series. And then I think I'm actually gonna do Frostblood. This intrigued me. I mean, it does sound pretty tropey, but I love a good trope. So I'm gonna do Frostblood, and I'm trying to see which ones like stuck out to me. Dorothy Must Die. So that's a pretty good range. This is like high fantasy, urban-ish fantasy, I guess, because it starts in our world. Maybe it's portal fantasy, I don't know. And sci-fi. I am genuinely excited to read every single one of these series, which is awesome. I think I'm gonna put them on their own shelf so that I can like remember that I really want to read all of these. I feel like I have so many stories and characters and worlds in my head right now, but I'm really excited about all of them. So this was a fun little experiment. So thank you so much for watching. I had a good time reading all of these books, and now I'm gonna go read an actual book and try to get all these characters out of my head until I get to start them for real. But I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Bye!